encourage a little bit of reorganization of where you are and who you're talking with. Let's split the room into quarters for those purposes, so the people who are most interested in one of those 4 ideas go to that corner of the room, and I want you to take a half hour to refine those ideas and come back with the ideal policy plan for each of them. So up here we'll have workforce training and education. So that's post-secondary education or post-college for those who go to college. People who are in or entering the workforce, how we can better train and educate them for the future. The back quarter of the room there, if you're interested in what we can do to improve K-12 education in terms of science and technology. The right back corner of the room for the localized folks, and the front right corner of the room for taxing companies and some sort of economic transfer to deal with the transition. Everybody clear on that? Okay, so workforce education and training, K-12, localize, make companies pay for the transition. We'll reconvene at 3:15.
Technology won't necessarily take over, but it is a lot about making connections. So getting people involved in that, most of our ideas were related to education. And we know that the Department of Education has a lot of gaps, and we would have needed way more time to go over that and try to fill those gaps. But instead, one of the solutions that we like the most, we're taking big corporations who are already making a lot of money and getting a lot of tax breaks to commit to underserved communities by educating and training people into tech-related positions.
But one overarching theme that we noticed in our answers was that no matter what, technology is going to keep on growing, right? So the problem right now is how do we kind of regulate that growth? And in short, we can't. But what we can regulate is we can localize, we can have localized policies for when companies come into a community, like the local government can make deals with that company to have kind of jobs that spread out within the community. And also, like, this means the policies kind of have to be negotiated from the companies as an entity, and the companies have to advocate for their workers, one. And two, also, like the government itself, there can be a federal government, but state governments and like city governments need to step in and be able to working on those policies, and they're going to develop those policies based on research.
Well, we need to teach our kids what makes us human. So we need to enforce everything that makes us human. So we need to teach art. We need to teach more sport. We need also to teach collaboration. We need to teach empathy. Because machines, they don't have any empathy. They're going to be very powerful. They're going to do better than us, but they don't have this. So this is like how I think like the education issue should be tackled. It's like to enforce and to create in our education system something that's going to enforce our human value.
Companies would have to be required to hire a certain percentage of human employees based on their yearly income.
Having the government offer these workshops to retrain you, and also to have them give you financial assistance as you're going through these workshops. So you don't have to worry about having a job. Just go to these classes, get retrained, the government will give you money. And also do things like if you can't pay your mortgage or your rent, have it so that you don't lose your house. Have the government really have an arm and assist you as you are retrained. So it's, technology took your job.
We focus primarily on what can be done to reform high school education, specifically changing the curriculum so that students are taught, but not like these classes, but not limited to financial literacy, introduction to technology, including stuff about coding, different career paths there. Critical thinking and ethics classes, which focus on current events, climate and environmental science, so that is important to prepare people for the imminent changes happening in our environment, and basic professionalism skills, so including like interviews, resumes, so these are things that will be added to the high school curriculum, and changes will be funded at the federal level. And
we also wanted to focus on investing in co-ops and small businesses, things that can be owned by the workers instead of being owned by large things being owned by smaller groups of people. Also, heavily tax the wealthiest in society. They're the ones replacing these workers with AI. then that money that is taken through taxes can then be invested in higher education, in technical schools, so that people are able to work and able to kind of work in the new industries that are coming up today.